Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Jove Birongi, Governor of the State of Nyadi, permanent member of the Congo Federal Council. I'm doing this live in English today. Let me just start on Facebook also, very quick. I'm going live today. Good evening, everybody. Good evening on Facebook. It's Jove Birongi, Governor of the State of Nyadi, permanent member of the Congo Federal Council. We're going to do this live in English tonight. We're going to address uh, the election, who's supposed to happen, who's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to speak on the title that I put here. Basically, in 2024 election of November 5th, 2024, how the Democratic Party failed the black vote and the black community, and the Kongo Federation itself, the 55th country of Africa. So I'm going to go and juxtapose a little bit what happened here with the Democratic Party in the United States. Uh, I'm going to play a couple of videos. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to play. You're going to hear the sound. We're going to listen to what Black America is saying. Black folks, actually, not the people that you see on TV who are trying to push a narrative, who are trying to cover the reality of what's going on with the black community in America. But we're going to hear the perspective of what's really going on in the black America here. And we're going to talk a little bit, of course, about immigration, especially African immigration, people like us who immigrate here, our contribution, why it's important that we understand the, the impact that we have. And we're going to speak also about the Congo Federation, how the Democratic Party in power failed the Congo Federation, the 55th country of Africa, and what is the implication. And we're going to talk about the influence of the new African leadership led by the Congo Federation and our influence in the black community in America and in the North, but also in Africa, how we lead in the new vision for Africa. And we hope that it help Black America too. So we're going to start to talk about the election a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play some videos, or it's going to be an audio. I think you guys might just hear an audio, but I'm going to start by playing that. What's happening with the black vote, the black community, what was the impact of the Democratic Party? What is it that the Democratic Party actually done and is doing, and why I put on my title that the Democratic Party failed Black America, failed the black vote, failed the black community. And I'm gonna, but I'm gonna play some videos so you guys can listen from yourself what Black America is saying about the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and of course I'm gonna finish my live with a word to the Democratic Party, a word for the Democratic Party, and a word for the Republican Party. Basically, word for Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump. I'm gonna close my live by giving my last thought about that. But I'm gonna play some videos for you guys to listen to what Black America is saying, and I'm gonna come explain why we're talking about failure. Why is that the Democratic Party failed the black community, failed the black vote? Why is the numbers still bad beside anything they're saying? But you're going to hear for yourself what Black America is saying. Let's start with this little video here. That's from my brother Philip Scott from the African China diaspora. We're going to listen a little bit what he was saying about Tavis Smiley and Barack Obama, the former President Barack Obama. What exactly was his impact on the black community? What happened?
So radio host Tavis Smiley was reacting to Barack Obama talking down on black men. Because how dare black men walk away from the Democrat Party? How dare black men think for themselves? Tavis Smiley was one of the figures who were calling Obama out. So radio host Tavis Smiley was reacting to Barack Obama talking down on black men. Because how dare black men walk away from the Democrat Party? How dare black men think for themselves? Tavis Smiley was one of the figures who were calling Obama out during his presidency on his BS, and unfortunately, a lot of people didn't listen to Tavis Smiley. I want you to check out the clip of, with Tavis Smiley just giving a little history on Obama.
And the number one reason black folks should not have been surprised at Barack Obama's smackdown is because this is not some new or strange phenomenon. Let me put it this way. If you were surprised by Barack Obama's comments last week, I can tell you who was more surprised. Care to guess? Barack Obama. I know he is still scratching his head. I've been talking down to these Negroes for 15 years. Now they're going to act all brand new like they don't know me? Help me, Holy Ghost. No, y'all know who I am. I'm the one who at the Congressional Black Caucus dinner told y'all to stop whining, stop crying, stop complaining. Take off your slippers and go do something. I'm the same one who admonished black men during my commencement address at Dr. King's alma mater, Morehouse College. Somebody rescue me if I'm wrong. I'm the same one who gave black men the business at a black church on the south side of Chicago, wait for it, on Father's Day. Y'all know who I am. I'm the one who sang Amazing Grace in South Carolina. I'm the one who broke y'all off some Al Green at the Apollo in Harlem. Now you're acting all funny style. Y'all Negroes know me. I'm the one who told you repeatedly, I am not the president of Black America. I'm the president of all America. Y'all Negroes are killing me.
Now, I remember the way Obama would talk down to black people all during his presidency. And the way he talks down on black people, he think he's better. You understand? He think he's better. And the reason why he think he come across as thinking he's better, he raised by them folks. He was not raised with us. He wasn't going through what we went through. He was raised with his white mother and white grandparents. He went to school at Harvard. I think he went to Harvard and things like that. Like, come on. I mean, the average black person don't grow up with white people. Then we grew up with our people, our culture, our community. Yeah, he married a FBA Michelle. But him, no, he doesn't have no connection to us like that. So it's easy for him to wag his finger and talk crazy to us like that because he's not one of us. And I'm so glad and proud of Black America that say, oh, hell no. Who in the hell you think you are? You better carry your happy self back to Martha's Vineyard where you live with the folks. Because you don't live around us. You live around them folks. But you're not your house all of a sudden talking down to black people, you going to tell us what to do, man, please. Listen, you messed up your legacy. Black people don't respect you. The worst thing the Democrats can do is wheel you out. We're going to say, oh, he coming, here we go. Nobody care about him. Them folks, I don't know if they listen to you or not, but we sure not. And so Tavis Smiley was definitely, and Jesse Jackson, was on him during his presidency for how way he was talking to black people. Wasn't doing nothing for black people. So it's about in line why he was talking that way. But Obama gonna stop coming out. He gonna see, because every time he come out and run off with his mouth like that to black people, he gonna get the business, and he gonna say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave them alone. And it's best that you do leave Black Americans alone, because in your presidency you didn't do nothing for us anyway.
Okay, so I want to share just this a little bit first. Please share the live. I forgot to share the live. Share the live in your group and Facebook, and I forgot to share the live. Sorry, I forgot to share the live. Please share the live. Share the live in your Facebook group and WhatsApp, and please share the live. I forgot to share the live on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Please share the live. I'm trying to see if I can share it right quick. Okay, please share the live. I forgot to share the live in the social media. Share the live. I, the governor of the state of Lekumu and Buenza, Governor Pungi is here. Hi to Jennifer Williams. Please share the live. Share the live on Facebook, YouTube. We're gonna speak also about at some point. The Democratic Party failures. And I just want to see if I can, because it's a little bit slow here. Okay, if I can share it at some point, right quick. Okay, share the live, share the live. Okay, so y'all see, they was talking about the Barack Obama legacy for the black people in America. How he basically destroyed his legacy. For 8 years of his presidency, he didn't do anything policy-wise for Black America, and he left Black Americans angry over the years because everybody, the majority of them, even us who are immigrants living, a lot of hope who was president. But it turned out to have help more LGBTQ people. He helped Asian people. He helped the bank. Barack Obama saved the bank. He left the people got foreclosed on, who lost their houses. And when he came back after the Great Recession in 2008, he is basically black folks in America lose half of their wealth during that process. But he saved the bank. He didn't save black folks. He didn't save black Americans who was losing their house, which the majority was black with those bad loans back in the day. So the legacy is not too good when it comes to black people, but they have this entitlement where they think that black folks owe them their vote. And that's what the conversation is about tonight. But you'll see how he came out insulting black men again, black people, insult black men in particular. Now, his wife, Michelle Obama, too, came out and insult black men, and the Democratic Party and the leadership keep insulting black people and trying to basically bully them to vote for them when they have passed no policies to help black America. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play you what actually black America want and need when it comes to the economy. The reason why the Democratic Party failed, you're gonna listen to here what actually black people want and need that the Democratic Party hasn't delivered. He's going to talk about the Republican Party too, so it's going to be a couple of about 18 minutes. But the reason why it's important, let me just see if I can. It's a bit slow here. The reason why it's important is because you're going to hear what Black America actually expect and waiting that they didn't get. And I'm going to talk about the real numbers a little bit later on, the position of Black America today, and how the Democratic Party is basically failed Black America. But now they're trying to bully, they're trying to push Black Americans to keep them in power when they are in power. The president is a Democrat president. President Joe Biden is a Democrat. Vice President Kamala Harris, she's a Democrat. She's still vice president. They have had 3.5 years in power already. They have done nothing. Even had the full Congress, the first 2 years, they had the majority. They had the majority in the Senate. They could not pass anything. the same situation over and over. When the Democratic Party gets full power, they still can't pass any bills, any laws to help or protect Black America. But you're going to hear from them themselves. I'm going to play another video. This is going to be a little bit long. What I'm going to do is, you're just going to listen to this. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to, because this one is a little bit long. It comes from the Professional Black Truth channel. You're going to listen here. It's 18 minutes.
If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon, so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you.
The
And of course,
Professional
be sure to
Black
give the
Truth.
video a like, as well as share it on your social media.
Yeah, listen
The
to
white
this.
supremacists hate that. And now the Sunday address.
Let's listen to
With
this.
the election just 2 days away, we're having a crescendo of the same old kind of banter that we're always subjected to. But don't get fooled, folks. Some people are going a little bit wobbly in the knees and go, well, maybe I need to go ahead and support one candidate or the other. While I'm not here to tell you how to vote, I am here to ask you why you're doing so. The number one issue isn't abortion, no matter what Kamala Harris may try to tell you. The number one issue happens to be the economy. And that being the case, the economy isn't really relevant to everyone else the way that it is to us, because it hits us harder than it does anyone else.
Listen to
And that's by design. So when it comes time to talk about the economy, don't let anyone on the white left or the white right get you to use their words. Just because we're all having economic problems doesn't mean it's for the same reasons. See, when they talk about the state of the economy, they're not talking about us, because there's always been economic ups and downs. But for the Black community, we've always been in an economic depression, no matter how the rest of the economy is doing. It doesn't matter how good Wall Street's doing or Main Street. We're always the ones on Skid Row. When the Great Depression hit, white people were the ones jumping out of windows and losing their minds. But for Black people, the only difference we noticed was there were a few extra people in the unemployment line. That's the reason why we require economic policy specifically for us. We are specifically targeted as a group for economic deprivation, and that means any sort of remedy must be specifically for us. That's the reason why you've been seeing these white supremacist trash like Ed Blum and other right-wing white supremacists running around attacking anything that's geared toward leveling the playing field for Black people. And you notice that nobody in the Democratic Party, absolutely nobody at all, is talking about how they're going to mount a counter effort legislatively or judicially to knock these racists out of the box. Now, why is that? They claim to care about Black women so much, but you got Ed Blum, who's putting together lawsuits specifically going after Black women, and you haven't had any of these Democrats saying boo about it. Kamala Harris ain't saying anything about it. The Congressional Black Talkers aren't saying anything about it. Vivica Fox ain't saying anything about it. Now, what does that tell you? This is because the Ed Blums and the David Horowitzes and others, they're doing the white left's dirty work. They both work hand in hand. These feeble courtroom tactics by the white right are in fact what the white left wants to happen, so that they can tell us phony reasons why they can't do any policies precisely for us. Out there in California, they didn't even need Ed Blum to run interference for them. Gavin Newsom was telling the legislative Black caucus out there, just make sure that that reparations bill never makes it to my desk. And that's exactly what they did. He had them on strings. They played their pathetic part like the puppets they are. But understand, in the years to come, you're going to be finding more of the white left and the white right getting on the same page against us, using the exact same words, the exact same rationales. The white left and the Bernie Sanders will go from saying, reparations isn't feasible, to Joe Biden and others who are going to be saying, well, it needs to go to Congress. And then finally they'll be saying, well, you know what? We think it's just unconstitutional. At some point, they're going to be trying to get there if we let them. When it comes to attacking us, they're not interested in pursuing policies that specifically target those who discriminate against us. That's what's actually unconstitutional. But then again, ingraining anti-Black racism into the social fabric is the entire point, and both parties are on board with it. So while there are aspects of the election that are important for us to at least comment on, let's make sure we don't lose sight of the long game. The single biggest aspect of the economic crisis happens to be the housing sector. And as I've already explained to you, Kamala Harris is in the hip pocket of America's largest landlord, Blackstone. And she's also getting whispered sweet nothings in her ear by America's second largest landlord, BlackRock. Now, that being the case, that's the reason why she hasn't been saying anything about what's going to be done regarding all of these big corporations and these big investment firms and hedge funds who are literally buying up entire neighborhoods and then declaring that all of those homes that they bought are no longer on the market for sale, they're only for rent. As far as putting together an organized legislative offense against this, you're going to have to wait a while because the entire point is to make sure that these big donors get to rape the economy for as much money as possible, stuff it in their pockets, and maintain all of their wealth, always at everybody, read black people's expense. That's what Kamala Harris is concerned about, and that's why she's not moving on the housing crisis. While there is a cost of living crisis, which is actually a cost of housing crisis, it's because the main source of the problem and the thing that drives most of the problem happens to be housing. This is what makes it where young people are not able to get their first homes and start getting on the ladder to try to build some sort of generational wealth, which is usually the house. That's the biggest investment that you got. But for black people, no matter what's been going on with the rest of the population, we've been enduring a nonstop cost of living crisis for 150 years. It's like talking about a recession. Well, we've been put into a recession and held there by political and corporate policies. Our recession has been nonstop from day one, and it's been engineered. There's no such thing as an economic cycle.
You hear that?
It's only when it affects non-black people that it suddenly becomes a national problem. When it affects only black people, well, that's not a problem at all. It's the society and the economy working the way it's supposed to. It's a personal failing on the part of black people. And you got some of the richest folks in America who are pushing this stuff. Donald Trump's been on the campaign trail with Elon Musk, and all the stuff that Elon Musk has done, you would think, has made him very unpopular with the white left, but not inside the Beltway. Why is it that Elon Musk is the ultimate welfare queen, yet he aggressively is supported by both of the major parties? Musk bitterly opposes government subsidies, or so he claims, and yet his companies are some of the largest recipients of government subsidies in human history. So is it really opposition on his part, or perhaps jealousy? As he sees it, nobody's supposed to get government money except for him. Elon Musk built his empire on government money, and it was given to him by successive Democrat and Republican administrations alike. Tesla was the result of the US government and states like California putting unprecedented huge tax breaks into incentivizing people to buy electric cars. But the same thing also goes for SpaceX. The government funded that one too. A lot of the right-wing trolls and hangers-on like to call Elon Musk Tony Stark, but phony Stark would be more like it. He's the biggest single recipient of government money in living memory. He certainly wouldn't have his empire without it, and yet here he is whining about others who do the same thing that he and his brain-dead racist cheerleaders all overlook, because to them, he represents a validation of whiteness, or rather their own putridly racist version of it. But this is who Donald Trump's on the campaign trail with. And yet Donald Trump's not bothered by the fact that the guy who basically is the poster child for the Green New Deal is also one of his biggest boosters. You see how that works? When it comes to black people, all of a sudden everybody becomes politically fluid. Everybody can move left to right, and it's all right, is all overlooked, because they understand what the elections are actually about. It's not the Democrats versus the Republicans. It's white supremacy versus black decency. But they're not alone. There's also a number of other black people who ought to be speaking up on issues of relevance to us, but who are MIA at the moment. Ta-Nehisi Coates comes to mind. We, the black grassroots, have single-handedly made reparations an issue, not him. And yet you would think that the guy who the white media claims his article in The Atlantic kick-started to talk about reparations, where's he at now talking about reparations? He's not talking about it at all. He wrote a book. Was the book about reparations? No. He was all vague and non-distinct when he was testifying before Congress a few years back on reparations. He gave these empty historical references, but he never said cash reparations or even what form reparations should take. He deliberately left it where reparations could be, well, whatever anyone else wanted to call reparations. That was deliberate. Now, when it comes to the latest book that he wrote, only a part of the book, by the way, dealt with Palestine, not all of it. But nonetheless, he's been getting himself a whole lot of publicity, a whole lot of attention over that. When it comes to the Palestinians, he's not vague at all. Just like Mark Lamont Schill. There's another one for you. When it comes to sticking up for everybody else, these bootlegging Negroes, they always make sure that they're strident for everyone else. Reparations ought to be something that they all should be talking about. This is something that's actually big. This is something that's actually substantive. But these guys looking and going, ooh, we definitely don't want to talk about that. Yeah, so much for being the guy who kicked off the reparations conversation, right? So much for the guy who's supposed to be the one spearheading all of it. He's hiding in the doggone background. He's more interested in what's happening in Palestine than he is what's happening with black folks right here in the United States. Now, these bootlicking Negroes who play this game, it's safe for them to do because the Palestine bandwagon is a fashionable cause for the white left. That's who these guys want to be heroes to. Because regardless of if there's a two-state solution, a one-state solution or a no-state solution, nothing that happens over there in the Middle East is going to affect what happens here at home. So that being the case, the Ta-Nehisi Coates and the Marc Lamont shills know that it's completely safe for them to let their hearts bleed for Palestine. Meanwhile, if you actually want to change things, you have to change the balance of power in the United States. You're not going to get that from any other constituency. All these other groups are trying to find a comfortable place under white supremacy. And if you truly believe that there's some settler colonialism going on over there, if you truly believe that what's happening in Israel is actually racial and not religious, then you're going to need to actually deal with what's happening over here, because this is what's funding it. The United States is what's funding it. Change the condition of black people in the US, and then you will have taken away all the support for the war machine in Israel. But then again, it's all a sideshow, all a distraction. We have these simple-minded slackers like Lamont Hill and Coates losing their little TV gigs, risking that little old TV cable money that they got. But when it comes to black people, you never see them doing the same thing. If these Negroes had a platform at the UN or on TV, why do they never use it to put the Democrats or Republicans on the hot seat about reparations? Yeah, they're willing to lose their doggone livelihoods, allegedly. They're willing to risk their careers for a fight in the desert on the other side of the globe. When the reality is, if you actually wanted to help the Palestinians, then you would be demanding cash reparations for black Americans, because an empowered black community wouldn't be prioritizing the Israeli war machine. We would be keeping that money here at home. But it's very clear to me that many of you like what Coates did, and you like that these Zionist mouthpieces in the white media are angry about what he said. When those who are white supremacist adjacent take one in the teeth, that's fine. But I can't really give Coates a pat on the back for the same reason I couldn't do it for Marc Lamont Hill. You see, when you're black first, that's exactly what it means. Black first. You want me to stick up for your cause? Well, you have to stick up for mine first. Rashida Tlaib only gave one or two very tiny, very empty mentions to the police attacking black people, and she hasn't said one word about cash reparations at all. She is a straight Palestinian advocate, full stop. If anyone should be tripping over their shoelaces to get in our good graces, it ought to be her. But instead, as we see with so many of these immigrants, she's hedging her bets and calculating that she can get what she wants without doing anything to advocate for the tangibles that we're owed. Did you know the Palestinians have a seat in the UN? At least the Palestinian Authority does. Can anyone think of even one time when they have used their position in the UN to stick up for us, to support us? So that being the case, what the hell would we look like being ready to jump out a window to take sides for Palestine? I only support people to the exact same extent that they support me. If they support me a lot, then I'll support them a lot. They support us only part-time, I'll only support them part-time. And if they don't support us at all, don't you dare ask when I'm going to support them. This is the reason why black people need to start being politically mature. And what that means when it comes to all of these allies and such is that we don't get involved in third-party disputes. Why? Because you never see anybody else trying to get involved in ours, certainly not on our side. A lot of those folks who are at each other's throats over in the Middle East, you let them get over here to the United States, where they're classified as basically white adjacent, and you'll find that they start immediately campaigning for a comfortable place under white supremacy. That's the same thing that the Irish did, same thing the Italians did, the Greeks, and the rest of them. When we talk about economic issues, we better understand everybody else is looking out for their own interests. And part of that means they're all looking to maintain the racial pyramid that is the American social order. Everyone who comes to the US is excruciatingly aware that they stand on a foundation built on anti-black racism. White supremacy has assigned everyone else a higher place than us, and they're aware that their position is artificial. So whether they admit it or not, they're looking at us all the time, just like the white supremacists do. And they're also very scared of the prospect that our position will ever change. That's why we always have all these people who are at each other's throats, be it in Europe, be it in Asia, be it in South America, and yet when they come to the United States, all of a sudden they put that stuff aside. That's because the American social order is organized around the principle of a common enemy. That is black people. You got folks from Asia, whether it be the Koreans and the Japanese, these people hate each other over there, but they come to the United States and all of a sudden they're all able to have hands across America for Peter Liang. That is, as long as he killed a black person. Meanwhile, if you have Asians who have been killed by white people, they don't do that because they understand exactly the rules of racism. One of the best moves that we made was to bury that whole allies line of garbage that Ta-Nehisi Coates and others spout. Black Americans are a group. And groups don't have friends, groups have interests. Coates did not use the media attention that he was getting from his book to advocate for his people. Instead, he wanted to show how altruistic he is and how he cares for everybody equally. The only way that it would be in our interest to take sides with either the Israelis or Palestinians is if either one of them took our side. Then we're sticking up for someone who's helping promote our interests. As it stands, the Palestinians are as aloof and distant from us as the Israelis. So I'm not taking either of their sides. And I'm sure that with a listenership as large and diverse as this one, some of my listeners are perhaps Muslims or immigrants or both, and hence your sympathies are with the Palestinians. I get that. And while you're worrying about people being killed en masse over there, you better start paying attention to how Black people are being killed with impunity over here, because this is where you actually live. And not one of your Palestinian spokespeople has made a cause celeb out of that. Be it economic or geopolitical, the only threat to white supremacy is Black American empowerment. Everybody else on the planet has either sided with white supremacy or is just trying to swing the best deal they can manage from white supremacy. We, and only we, are actually trying to fight it. Palestinian statehood is not a threat to white supremacy. Practically all of those Arab countries over there are in league with white supremacy. Look at how the Arabs treat the Africans in those countries, if you doubt me. That's why the white media didn't mind having Ta-Nehisi Coates on so he could talk about Palestine, because no matter how that situation shakes out, it's not going to affect white supremacy one iota. Now, cash reparations and the economic empowerment of Black Americans, that would change everything. Which is why they didn't have him on to talk about that, and why he didn't volunteer about it either. This during an election year. You would think that with the 2024 election, and especially what's going on in California, he would be all over it. But he's not. He's looking for a white publisher to give him an advance, and then he's looking for white media networks to give him airtime to promote his book, just like all the rest of these Negroes that you see on white media cable. He's still on team white supremacy. Family, I'm sorry if you got hoodwinked by his phony, overblown political theatrics that took place on that CBS morning show. More people are talking about his book than were before. You think that's some sort of accident? I think they wanted that to happen. If they didn't want him to give his support for the Palestinians, all they had to do was simply not have him on the air. No one would have even known that his book came out. All of these people who you see, these sorry Negroes in front of the TVs, they're not saying anything about cash reparations or anything about specific policies for us. That's deliberate. White supremacy has the luxury of pretending to engage on the issue of Palestine because white supremacy was dominating the world long before there was a state of Israel. And if the Israelis surrender to Hamas tomorrow, white supremacy will still be in charge. And these same Palestinians that a lot of you are looking at as proxies for yourselves, you'll see them put aside all their differences with the Israelis and begin to close ranks against us. Just like all of these other groups who were at each other's throats in the past. As soon as the Irish got here, they made friends with the Anglo-Saxon cousins of their same British oppressors. I keep telling you this. Look at every war the U.S. has had in the 20th century. After those wars, the U.S. would allow those very same ethnic groups that it had beaten up to migrate to the U.S. And when they got here, they didn't join with us. They didn't even treat us with friendliness. They immediately got on code with the dominant society. From the Germans, to the Italians, to the Japanese, to the Koreans, to the Vietnamese, to the Arabs. That's the pattern. Everyone can see it, except for a few soft-minded Negroes. White supremacy is sophisticated. That's why it's proven itself so adept at taking non-white people and then making them into useful idiots for white supremacy. So please don't let any of the chatter about the economy or about foreign affairs make you think that we're supposed to be picking some sort of dog in the fight. The only dog is ours. And ours has been starved for far too long. So it's time that we make sure it gets fed. And that means we focus only on what's in our interest, no matter how much scare talk that we get around the board. If these people are really so worried about Donald Trump and fascism coming to America, then it should be an easy decision for them to sit down with us and say, it's time to break bread. We've held out long as we can. They don't seem to be thinking that there's some sort of truly existential crisis because they're not acting like it. And you shouldn't either. Because as we should all know by now, the cruelest form of trickery is self-deception.
That's right.
Good evening, and be one.
The professor of truth. I wanted to share this so you guys can listen for yourself. The professor of Black truth. He's on YouTube. That's one of his last videos. Audio, he looks more like audio, but wanted you to listen to what's really going on, because we're not going to play games here. In the Kongo Federation, the Congo Federal Council, we don't play games, we tell truth. Truth to power. So all these games that they're playing, basically, to resume, we're still not getting anything out of it. And that's the whole point of this video, to talk to the Democratic Party. We're still not getting anything out of it. When Vice President Kamala Harris sent a whole supporters with President Barack Obama, with his wife, to speak to black folks, the way they spoke to black folks to come to vote for them was so disrespectful that they got Black America angry, pissed off. Because we still have this disrespect coming from the Democratic Party, even though they always enjoy a majority black vote of over 80%. But when it comes to the policies, that's what he's talking about. When it coming down to helping actually Black America, the black community, for all of a sudden, Barack Obama, during these 8 years of presidency, his people say that he transcended race. So his reason not to help Black America during these 8 years of presidency was that he transcended race. Basically, he's in power, he's not black anymore. He's like everybody. But when he comes every year since he's been president, every 4 years he come out to basically bully and push black folks to vote for the Democratic Party. But when they get the power, even with President Joe Biden, they had the majority in the Senate and the House. They could not pass any reparation bill, any anti-crime bill to protect black folks from white supremacy, or any economical achievement that will help target the black community and transfer a lot of the money, that they share like candy between the Zionists in Israel of Netanyahu and Zelensky of Ukraine. They keep giving them billions of dollars without even asking, without even going to Congress. So they're getting the money. But when it comes to the black community, all of a sudden, nobody else want to do anything for black folks. None. Republicans want to pass any laws. None. No, the Democrats. But the shame here is that the Democratic Party is the party that was supposed to be helping black folks, because the Democratic Party is the party that received over 80% of the black vote, over 80% of the black support. But when you look at the track record of where Black America is today in 2024, it's a disaster economically. We're still at the bottom. About 49% of Black America make under $50,000 a year. And the majority of the Black America is in a poverty, in the poverty bracket between 0 to about $19,000 a year in salary or wages. So Black America is still at the bottom. When it comes to being arrested, going to jail, almost 1/3 of black, especially black men, are incarcerated. Black Americans are the ones who are most susceptible to be pulled over by the police, even when you're successful, even when you have done nothing wrong. They still get harassed the most. That's why a Black American keep asking the Democratic Party and the Democratic Black caucus all over the place to pass an anti-racist black bill. But when they ask Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, what are you going to do for black men? that you come in harassed now to vote for you. What are you going to do for black men? She pulled up a little list in the middle of the election. So for 4 years, almost 2.5 years, she's been in power with Joe Biden. They have no list to help black people. But black people put them in power at over 80% in 2020. So all this time, Vice President Kamala Harris had no list to help black men in this country. Now, in the middle of the election, because black people revolted against her, many of black people right now want to even go vote for Trump. Now she came up with a list, and on that list that was supposed to be for black men, what they're going to do, she still had others. So even on the list that she made that was supposed to actually help black folks, they still add everybody else. And every time the Democratic Party bring a bill or bring a policy where they say is for everybody, is for others, is for all of you, black folks are on the bottom. When it comes to the money, when you go look at the money, the way the money is redistributed in the United States by the United States Congress, black community get about 1% of that money. The rest goes to the Zionists in Israel, they go to Zelensky, they go to the billionaire, the rich folks, which are most of them are white families. But the black community still get almost nothing. It's 2024. That's what the difference is with our generation. We refuse to come just talk about what happened during the civil rights. Yes, we know that we have maybe more right than we didn't have before. We get that as black people. But you cannot keep talking about the civil rights era, and it's been like 40 years or 50 years since then. You have a lot of black politicians in power. You have a lot of black presidents in power, and you still have a lot of Democratic president in power, because the Democratic Party are the ones who receive the most of the black vote, or about 80%. Now the revolt, now they've seen the revolt. I think Kamala Harris was like 77% the last time I checked. So she don't even have enough to win. And if you look at even the campaign that she's been doing the past 2 weeks, she's been talking only to black, she's been going only where black folks are. And it's ironic to me. You keep coming telling people that, oh, black America or black people in America are only 14% of the country. Basically, they don't matter. But when it comes to the election, for all of a sudden, they're coming to ask black people to sacrifice even their household. Now, we have heard Madame Michelle Obama saying that, talking to women who are married, basically threatening them, asking them to threaten their husband if they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris, then maybe all hell will break loose in the house, because the husband will not, if the husband don't want to vote for Kamala Harris, then the woman will basically bring fire in the household. So the Democratic Party got to the point where they basically bringing a fight between a black man and a black woman, a married couple, if the man refused to vote for Kamala Harris. And they think it's okay that black women basically disrespect their husband and bring a fight in the household because the black men are maybe not interested to vote for Kamala Harris. Maybe some of them want to vote for Trump. Some of them want to vote independently. But they come advocate for basically a fight to put Kamala Harris in power when she's been in power for 3.5 years and she has done nothing for black folks, nothing for black men. Her and Joe Biden have passed zero policies as they in power to help the Black America. Even when they had the Senate and the House, the Black Congress, the Black Caucus has passed nothing. The people who got the money, who got the help, are the Asian community. They got the anti-Asian bill, anti-Asian bill to protect themselves. The LGBTQ people keep getting also the support from the Democratic Party. They seem to be the ones who get the most support. You're hearing that abortion talk, and I'm really. This is something that kind of I don't understand why you come as a political party and think that by selling abortion to the Black community, abortion will be a number one issue when people are struggling in the country. Abortion don't help on the high cost of living for food or for gas or for rent, or even now for people who are trying to buy properties, the mortgage are 7%, and the Democratic Party are in power. The president is still a Democrat, even though he was pushed out by his colleagues, like former President Barack Obama. He was threatened by the 25th Amendment. They forced Joe Biden out to push Kamala Harris because they know that he was already losing against Trump, former President Trump. But the ridiculous part about this is they still don't get it. They still don't get it. That until you deal with the way Black Americans in this country are treated, until you deal with that, until you start to put policies and transfer the money in the Black community to develop the Black community, to repair what happened since slavery, they still got no reparation. They could not even pass it in California, where the Democrats have the majority control of everything. And they use this so-called Black caucus, whether it's from the state or from Congress, who seems to be only good to serve the state of Israel. Basically, the Black caucus is the Zionist caucus. It seems that all these Black politicians, most of them are part of the Divine Nine. The Divine Nine, who was put in place back in the day because the Freemasonry didn't let Black folks in. So they wanted to be part of the Freemasonry. But what the history that Black folks are saying, how they get to power, to be part of the elite. So they created the Divine Nine. And this Divine Nine seems to be the strength of the intellectual, of the riches of the Black boule who basically lead Black America. But for something that is very hard to understand, their priority is never the Black community. Their priority is always to help the LGBTQ people, help everybody else, help the Zionists of the state of Israel, make sure that they get their money, help Zelensky of Ukraine, make sure that he keeps going to doing the war against Russia, help everybody else. But when it comes to the Black community, all they get to have is barbecues. They bring them Megan Thee Stallion so she can make them dance. They bring Beyonce. They get music, they get barbecue, they get fish fry. That's what they do for Black folks. The Black boule part, basically the elite of the Black in America. It's strange. They want power. You put them in power. When they get to power, then they get to serve everybody else but black folks. That's basically what the professor was saying. That's the shameful part about the black leadership. Actually, the old guard, because we are the new black leadership, and I'm going to explain why we're doing this differently. Whether it's in Africa or in America, we want to lead in a different way. But I'm talking to you about what you have right now. The same black leaders from the Black Caucus, from the Boule class, the Divine Nine, they have influence in churches across the country. They have influences in politics. They have influences in the economy. They seem to have just the story of personal success, but there is no story of community success. So they pick as politicians, they're financed by the Israeli lobby. Most of them are Zionists. Basically, AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, financed their political career. That's just the truth. So when they get to the power as a senator or a representative, nothing for black folks. No policy. But they come say we are the Black Caucus, we are the black representative. They seem to represent only their own interest, where they get to get the big money, the big time on the TV screen and all that. It seems to be about personal success only. That's what we are seeing from the Black Boule society. And some of them seems to be the protector of the white supremacy too. And the part that I discovered that kind of distraught me the most, as me myself a politician leader today for the Kongo Federation, they seem to use the Black Caucus in Congress to draft laws to hurt Africans. The laws, the economical laws who bring high prices, high debt, they seem to be drafted by the Black Caucus in the United States. That's what we discovered recently. They passed the laws that basically hurt Africans. Those laws are drafted by the Black Caucus in the United States Congress. We have discovered that too. So it's always this situation where they got some black people on top who part of their own Boule society, Divine Nine society, Freemasonry society, where the action that they take, the policy that they take, seems to hurt black people all the time. And they're the one who push actually for this type of war game going on between countries in Africa. It's very hard to understand sometimes when you look at those policies that they draft. And they come out of the Black Caucus. We discovered that too. That's why I say in the title of my video, the Democratic Party failed the black vote, failed the black community, but also failed the Kongo Federation. Because when we went to speak to United States Congress, the Kongo Federation, to protect our people who have been genocided for over 40 years by Denis Sassou Nguesso, who pretend that he's a president for the Republic of Congo, where he's never been voted, he just imposed himself. He's been there for over 40 years. There seems to be also always a lack of empathy for the autochthon people of the Kongo Federation who have been suffering under this dictatorship for over 40 years. Even when he's trying to speak to black senators, black representatives, they still need to have no empathy when it comes to black folks in Africa. It's amazing to me. Yet they talk about the struggle. We talk about Martin Luther King. We talk about the civil rights movement all the time. They don't seem to see the pain of the autochthon people, the owner of the land, like the Kongo people who are the owner of the land that they came in and built United States on by using our natural resources, by using our labor. Many of the slaves come from the Congo, what used to be the Congo Empire. Governor Pungi saying the Kongo Conference known as Berlin between 1884 and 1885. That's right. The Congo Conference between 1884 and 1885, they have used that to divide Africa, to create these African countries. They have used that to build their country, to build the United States, to build what you're looking at today as United States. But they came to our land. They took our natural resources to build United States. But they never built or helped build our people back there. But that's what they promised to our ancestors. They never did. And when he put it in today's context of politics, what we discover is this resentment against black people all the time, coming from black leaders in position of power in United States Congress, in United States House of Representatives, in United States White House. It seems always to be this lack of empathy when it comes to black folks in America and in Africa. So how do you think that you're going to get better if you don't address the pain, if you don't address the destruction that have been put on our people's lives over the centuries? Black Americans asking for reparation for slavery, but African like Congo are asking for reparation for what you have done back on our land by using our natural resources, building your own countries and not building ours, as you still basically put a financial system where you basically steal our natural resources, you take it for free, and you put in front corporation, multinational corporation, who basically just take the natural resources and don't develop our people. That's what the new black leadership is against. That's why you see this black revolt in America, black revolt in the United States, and the Kongo Federation. We are one of those new leaders in Africa and the United States and everywhere in the world that has spoke clearly about solving the issue of the black community first before you understand that you cannot go further than that. You need to bring a solution to it. You need to bring some reparation, you need to bring some protection for black folks, whether it's in the United States or in Africa, because we are the ones that are getting pounced on. We are the ones that are getting basically steal from. And our community are not getting built. So what is it that the Democratic Party is talking about when they're asking black folks to go vote? Vote for what? Every time they give you power, you have done zero for black folks. President Trump might not be the best choice in the world or whatever, but black people don't vote 80% for the Republican Party. Black people vote 80% for the Democratic Party. So the burden for black folks is on the Democratic Party first, because that's where they lock the majority of the black energy to build their career. And when they get to power, now they get to insult black folks all the time. To ask a wife in a black man household to rise against her husband because her husband don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. And you come on TV and say that with a straight face. What is it that Vice President Kamala Harris done for black folks? Nothing. She's been in power for 3.5 years. She kicked out, her and Barack Obama kicked out Joe Biden because he was already losing against Donald Trump. Now that you put Kamala Harris up front, now you keep threatening, insulting, disrespecting black folks in this country so you can get to power to do what? You want to be in power to do what? You have the power. You have black people in power right now. What is the agenda to protect black folks or to invest in the black community? They have none. So what are you asking power for? Why are you harassing black people to go vote for you when you get to power, you cannot deliver anything for black people? You can't even help Africans that you use in the multinational to get other natural resources from to build America. That's why the new leadership that we are, the new black leaders from Africa and from the United States, we say no. We want to see tangibles. We want to touch also the part of the wealth. We want to touch also the part of the control of the natural resources of our land, like the Kongo Federation land, which is the 55th country of Africa. We want the control of our natural resources and not give everything to multinationals from, owned by Zionists or owned by Europeans or by the United States. You don't just get to come and take the natural resources and do nothing for our people, leave. Let other countries like Rwanda to come invade our land to steal our natural resources and kill our people. And you're the one who basically giving arms to Rwanda. You arming them, you financing them. These kind of old, pitiful policies have been rejected by the new leaders. That's why you see this anger against the black leadership of this country and the Democratic Party, especially because they have failed our people in America and in Africa. Yes, because the black caucus in America, in the United States Congress, have a big influence in the policies that's happening through the multinational in our land in Africa. Those policies that keep our people poor and they keep other natural resources coming this way, and whatever money that we're supposed to get go all the way in the hands of a dictator like Denis Sassou Nguesso. They get to enjoy, and they are foreigners in our land. They're not even from our land. And you got all these foreigners that they put in charge in people's country who destroy the country, and because they're destroying the autochthon, the native people, they torture them, so the native cannot enjoy their own natural resources. And we have said no to that. We have rejected this way of doing politics. That's why Vice President Kamala Harris contest for the presidency is really taking a toll on black folks because they're trying to insult their way into the presidency. Former President Barack Obama joined in, his wife Michelle Obama joined into that insulting way of trying to ask for power. And you're trying to ask for power. When you have power, you crush the people that put you in power. 80% of the black vote you've been getting since the 1960s. Black America still at the bottom. What have you done for black people in this country? That's what the real question is. And when you get to power, the people who get the money out, the military industrial company, now you're fighting maybe like 4 or 5 wars right now. Joe Biden is in the middle of like 4 or 5 wars at the same time. Through the state of Israel, the Zionists, they're fighting everybody. They're trying to take everybody's land. And the Democratic Party is supporting that. For Netanyahu, they have all the money in the world. He give them over 40 billion, 50, and maybe every 3 weeks, he get a couple of billions of dollars to fight wars for themselves. So they can take somebody else's land. You don't want to talk about that? But yet you're asking the people that you're doing nothing for, you basically harassing, because what I'm seeing this year is not even, you're not asking people, you're harassing black men, you're harassing black people. That's harassment. Because when you start to trying to get a wife to rise against her husband in a household because you want Kamala Harris to be president, Kamala Harris who have done nothing for black folks. She's been in politics for decades. They could not even pass a reparation over there in California with that the governor, how you call him, of California, Gavin Newsom, and the Black Caucus. They could not even pass reparation in California where the Democratic Party control everything. So she's from California. So why she didn't help the black people over there to get reparation in California? She's from California. You could not help black folks in California, and you're asking every black folks in this country to vote for you for what? In a point where you come insult black men, insult couples, create fight in people's household because the men maybe want to vote for Donald Trump and the woman maybe want to vote for you. So now the woman got to create a crisis in the household. That's what you're advocating for. You keep talking about abortion. We can't eat them. Abortion don't gonna help on the price of food and price of gas and electricity. You keep pushing that LGBTQ agenda on black people. Pushing all this agenda who has nothing to do with lifting, helping black folks. You have zero black agenda, nothing for black folks in America, nothing for black folks in Africa, where you're taking the natural resources from to keep this country going. So why should you receive black people's support? Why should you be in power as the Democratic Party? Why should you still receive 80% of the black vote if you don't do nothing for black people? You keep protecting white supremacy and Zionists. White supremacy and Zionists don't help black folks. That don't develop the black community, don't bring any money to the black community. They're basically taking, now we're saying, you got to that illegal immigrant stuff where they're sending them in the black communities where the resources are already low, and now there's not enough resources for black people who live here who pay taxes. The taxes are getting sky high. You're kicking black folks from their houses. The new stuff that we hear now is all these black people who work all their lives, the seniors who pay off their houses. Now they're making the tax so high that they're kicking these people. They're basically stealing the senior black people houses. So black people are getting kicked out of their cities, of their communities, by using nasty tactics and getting replaced by illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants, whatever you want to call it. So is something wrong going on here? And the Democratic Party need to understand the anger that you have created here by stamping on black folks for 40, 50 years, where basically you keep talking about the past, but you're not doing anything in the present. You keep talking about old victories. We want today's victories. And you're trying to force a woman who has zero connection to the black community to be honest. Because when she got to the Senate, she was a senator from India. Now when she ran for vice president, all of a sudden we need a black vice president with Joe Biden. But when you look at what they have done in 3.5 years, nothing for black folks. Everything for Israel and Zelensky and Ukraine. They get all the money that they need and they want. I haven't seen nothing for black community. When you go look at, okay, how much money get to the black community after the United States? We're around 1%. That's a goddamn shame. So I think the reckoning is coming. People need to wake up and understand that black folks need tangible in America, and African black people need to be able to enjoy their country and their natural resources. Not just being lectured to, assaulted, and treated like they're nobody as you getting rich of our natural resources. I can speak like that because I'm a governor of a state of Nigeria, of a country which is one of the richest countries in this world, the Kongo Federation. Every politician in America, every black politician American knows about the Kongo Federation, and they know that we're telling the truth. We told the truth years ago, we're telling the truth today. And this new leadership of black folks, we demand accountability, we demand results, we demand to see transfer of wealth, of power in the black community. We demand to have now black folks in control of their natural resources in their own country, like the Kongo Federation. Any deal with the multinational must put the owners of the land in control, not the foreigners, because it hasn't worked for our people. This strategy, this way of doing politics has been a failure. And we reject any support of a Democratic Party or a Democratic people who receiving the majority black vote if they don't do anything for them. Why would you need our power? Why would you need black people power or black people support if you're not willing to do anything for them? You don't deserve the black vote. That's what the reality is. And stop insulting us. And stop insulting our intelligence. And stop trying to bring a fight between man and a woman in their household because they don't agree with the fact that you have done nothing for black people. You have had 8 years of Barack Obama in power. You have 4 years of Joe Biden in power. The last 12 years, you have done nothing for the black community. You could not even pass a bill to protect black America. You could not even pass a bill to help black America. You could not even pass a bill for reparation, to repair black America. And if I talk about Africa, it's actually worse. Because all you're doing is helping the Zionists take people's land. And also, some of those lands are African lands. So stop the foolishness. We reject that way of doing business. As black leaders in Africa and the United States, we are rejecting all this type of politics that don't help our people. And yes, we're going to come speak out strongly against that, especially one day before the election. You need to get it. You need to understand it. The failure of the Democratic Party, the failure of the Black Caucus, the failure of the black leadership in America when it comes to the influence in Africa and here in America. We are tired of you using our energy for nothing and delivering nothing for our people. And we will rise against you and make sure that you lose your political position because you're doing nothing anyway. My name is Jove Birongi. I'm the governor of the state of Nyadi of the Kongo Federation, the 55th country of Africa. The Democratic Party has failed the Kongo Federation because they refuse to listen to what we have been telling them. That we need to get our land back. That's part of the reparation that you owe. We need to get our land back. The Republic of Congo have failed our people through that BS connection with France that you guys created, because the United States take out the last word. We have understood that too. We need to get our land back. This is the land of the Congo Empire. The owner of the land are asking to get their land back and get the Republic of Congo out of our land. They failed our people. We received over 60,000 votes from overseas. We represent over 3 million people out of 5 million. We are the majority of what used to be the Republic of Congo. Now is the Kongo Federation, the 55th country of Africa. We demand to get our land back so we can bring prosperity to our people, so we can use the natural resources to develop our people. We are willing to do business, to have good partnership, but we need multinationals going to understand that the priority must develop our people first, not bring all the natural resources here in America and in Europe and do nothing for our people and leave us with war and poverty. We are not interested in that way of doing business. We have rebuked and rejected those contracts, those old guard contracts since 1884. We have rejected that. We are spiritually aligned. We have made our alliance between us and the Kongo Federation, and we are asking and demanding to get our land back. And I hope that you take this video and share with all these black politicians in the United States, those people who are in the black caucus in Congress, whether it's in the House or it's in the Senate. Share that video. Explain to them that the new generation, we have rejected that way of doing politics that you have been doing. Where you use our energy, you use our people. Now you harass black folks to go vote for you and you don't deliver nothing for us. And you create all this chaos, this disrespect of black men. Asking a black woman to disrespect their husband. What kind of politics are you doing? Asking wife to disrespect their husband for Kamala Harris? Really? For Kamala Harris? She married to a white man. She's not married to a black man. You're asking black women to disrespect their black husband for Kamala Harris, which married to a white man, a Jewish Zionist. Yeah, I said it. She's not married to a black man. She's married to a white Jew man. But you're asking black women to disrespect their black husband for her? Is that what it got? Is that what politics came down to in the black? That's what black leaders now asking for? Are you serious right now? You should be ashamed of yourself. You don't deserve the black vote. You don't. And you shouldn't get it, to be honest with you. You don't deserve the black vote. And you need to understand that we will not stand for this disrespect anymore, and we will not stand with exploitation where black folks still at the bottom, but you use black people natural resources to build your country, your companies. We have rejected this way of doing business. My name is Jove Birongi. I'm the governor of the state of Nyadi, of the Kongo Federation, the 55th country of Africa. I wanted to share my thought one day before the election, and I want to share what some African American foundational Black Americans are saying about the economy, are saying about this election. But we don't want to be disrespected anymore. We are not interested to be dragged to the bottom all the time and exploited like we're nothing. We're going to rise against that, and we're going to get many of you out of power. It don't matter if it takes us 10 years. We're going to get on a campaign against this way of doing business, where Black folks are disrespected all the time. I wanted to share this message today, one day before the election, so you guys can understand where the Black community stand and where Black leaders, African Black leaders, African American Black leaders, financial Black American Black leaders, what they're saying and where they stand, so the country can understand where we're going. We're gonna keep our vision out here to explain to everybody that things have changed. And this generation want to see progress. We want to see our people fare better wages, better position. Not individual success. We want to see community success. That's why we are a federation. We advocate for community success, not personal success. That's why they sold here in the Black community with the Black Boule, the Divine Nine. They're selling personal success. Black people personal success when they're trying to paint a husband against his wife to put Kamala Harris, who married to a white man who happened to be Jew or Zionist, whatever you want to call it. So you want to destroy the Black family for Kamala Harris? Are we serious right now? So you need to think about that. That we have rejected this way of doing politics and this way of doing business. The new generation that we have rejected it. And we want our land back in the Kongo Federation. Give us our land back. The Republic of Congo have failed our people. Our people, over 3 million, are asked for their land back and the control of their natural resources and the protection of their people. That's what our people are asking for. The Democratic Party is aware of it. The Republican Party is aware of it. And if former President Trump wins, we're going to come also keep him accountable about the Black community and about the Kongo Federation. We do the same thing that we're doing right now. Nobody's getting away with stepping on Black folks anymore. We're done with that. This new generation of leaders, we are done with that. Between the Boule, the Divine Nine, the Freemasonry, and all these organizations who basically surf on Black folks' energy and do nothing for us. We are done with that. You need to understand that once and for all. Okay, I'm gonna stop here tonight. Thank you again. Please share this video with your parents tonight, with your friends, your family. They need to understand where the Black consciousness, which level we're on right now. We will not tolerate disrespect anymore. To be kept at the bottom of the poverty level all the time. We're done with that bullshit, to be honest. You tell that to your family. And nobody gonna come split the Black family so we can elect a woman who's married to a white man who has been in power for 3.5 years and done nothing for Black folks. And then we're supposed to break our Black families for that. Really? Never again. You pass the message to everybody. Okay, thank you again. Thank you to the Kongo Federation. Thank you to the Governor Pungi, the Governor of the state of Buenos Aires. Kumu is here. He's one of the governors that we actually was in the White House. He even met Joe Biden. He spoke for us over there. He represented the United Nations. He fought hard to try to get the Democratic Party to get it, as I did as the governor the state of Pangala, Maman Olga Sedi Shemendit, as the king of the kingdom of Luango, His Majesty Chikazinga I, as we fought to liberate our people, we dealt with the Democratic Party, and it seems like the Democratic Party still don't get it. They still don't get it. That black folks are not interested to be stepped on anymore. And I think history gives us, history we tell that we was right. And we have rejected this way of doing politics and business, especially in America and in our own countries, like the Kongo Federation. Thank you very much. May God bless all of you. Please learn that what we need now is to protect the black community, to protect Africans, and to protect and repair those who have been at the bottom for centuries. Enough is enough. Black people need to be respected. Don't just try to use them. You don't have to love us or like us, but at least you owe us respect. Share that message with everybody. Thank you again. May God bless all of you. I'm Jovet Birongi. I'm the governor of the state of Nyadi, of the Kongo Federation, the 55th country of Africa. Please help share that message to every English-speaking country that they need to give our land back. That's what our people have asked. Over 3 million. May God bless you all. Thank you.